All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Eddie Freeman, and I'm speaking to you live here from Boston, Massachusetts, and I want to welcome you to our live training call for Common Sense, the only company that I've ever seen that is simply built on sound business principles, logic, and common sense. And I can tell you, I've been in this industry now. June 1st will be 30 years. I have never been more convinced of the decision that I made to join this company in my life, because we've got something here that is so special in so many aspects. And you've heard me talk about it. Before I talk about get on the topic of today's training, I just want to talk a little housekeeping. So you know that we are doing these calls, these webinars, Monday through Friday at noon, 7 and 10 Eastern, and they run 17 minutes. Well, today at 2 p.m., we're going to do, this is going to be my brand new presentation that I've been working on here, and this will start, just to let you know, okay, to do 15 presentations in a week, with my schedule and the three-way calls and the recruiting, it's not the easiest thing to do. And so I decided with Joe, hey, you know what, I'll record one, we'll play it. And, of course, then Joe comes to me last night in his Joe way. Eddie, I think it's time for you to do another one. And I'm like, oh, Joe, I'm so busy, I'm tired, and I only did that one, No, Eddie, I really think it's time. And, Joe's not an easy guy to say no to. So it's like, oh, okay. And I was actually sitting there worried about, oh, my gosh, I got to make this live presentation now at 2, and again at 7 p.m. tonight, by the way. And all of a sudden I said, you know what? Woke up this morning, worked on a PowerPoint, going to work on it today, and I believe that it's going to be the best body of work I've ever done from a webinar PowerPoint situation. And if I were you, I would get as many people as you could on that, and then do follow-up 3-ways with your upline afterwards. And, of course, if I can be on that call, you know that I will. Well, one of the things you've heard me talk about, and some of you have only heard me once or twice, and some of you have known me for a year, 5 years, 10 years, and, I go back 25 years with some of you that are on this call right now. And most of you know that I've been what most people would consider relatively successful in the industry of network marketing. And some of you actually know the numbers, how much money I've made in the companies I was with between 1990 and 2018. But how much money I've made is not what I'm the most proud of, because you know what? That doesn't do you any good. Here's what I'm proud of. The fact that since 2002 to now, a course of 18 years, I've helped over, I think it's thousands, let me put it this way, thousands and thousands of people earn a residual income stream that's over $200 a week. And I know you might say, oh, $200 a week. Yeah, well, if you got a job, and you got a raise at $200 a week, and all you have to do is work a half hour to an hour a day for 90 days extra, and then that would be residual forever. Would you take that $200 a week? Would you spend it? Yeah. Well, I've helped over 1,000 people make over $2,000 a week. That's $100,000 a year. That's a whole new job for some people. I've helped 30 people become millionaires in the industry of network marketing. And you know what? I believe that this company is going to create serious amount of millionaires over the next 3 to 5 years. Because one thing, and I'm going to say this on the webinar today, you really need to think about the timing, not just the fact that we're a 5-month-old company and all the wonders of getting in early with a company that's got money and a strong management. Obviously, that's good. But just think of where we are right now with what's going on in the world. It's at times like these that new industries come on board that people hadn't even heard of before and create millionaires and fortunes for people. In my opinion, over the course of the next 90 days, the home-based business is going to become very popular. And why wouldn't somebody want a home-based business now? I mean, and I'm not saying you can get into Common Sense and work 2 weeks and start making $10,000 a month or replace your income that you had before you got temporarily laid off or whatever. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is over the course of the next 90 days, you can create something that will be substantial, that will pay you for years and years and years. And I'm going to call this, this is really the cycle of duplication. This is a training system that I've taught over the years that some people work it a little bit, some people work it a lot, and then some people poo-poo it. The people that work it a lot have gone on to create huge successes. And I really want to call this one the road to Ruby. And the reason I want to call it the road to Ruby is if I could share with you, number one, I don't know how well you know this comp plan. You probably don't know it well, but I can tell you this. Ruby in this one, that's big. That would be like hitting diamond in my last one. In my last one, the average diamond was making a fortune, okay? Ruby in this one gets you things that you can't even imagine. And I'm going to explain to you, as I realized, as I looked at the numbers, I said, oh my gosh, if you do these numbers within 6 months, you're going to be a Ruby, okay? So real quickly, every one of you that is on this phone, you're lucky because you were in the right place at the right time. And you're smart because you realize you're in the right place at the right time. But now, you still need to take massive action. And you didn't wake up one day saying, man, would I like to be part of a network marketing company. I wonder if there's a company out there that's not using CBD, but they're using a whole hemp plant. And I wonder if they were using mangosteen and fucoidan, but I wonder if they could use extracts instead. And I wonder if it could be, a 5-month-old company, and it was a company. But no, you didn't wake up one morning thinking that. Somebody called you. You were recruited into taking a look at this business. And now it's time for you to do the same thing. It's not going to happen by itself. But what if I told you that you could put in as little as an hour a day for the next 90 days, and you could hit Ruby in 6 months just using the law of averages? I know it sounds crazy, but if you do it, and you do it step by step, you're going to make money. And by the way, as I share this with you, you may hear it and say, well, I like what Eddie's doing here, but you know what? I don't see where I have to do that. Or I like what he's doing here, but I don't see why I need to do that. I promise you, you do. You can't take this recipe and use part of it. It's kind of like if I made chocolate cake, and you tasted my chocolate cake, and you said, man, Eddie, that's the best chocolate cake I've ever had in my life. I want your recipe. So I give you my recipe, and now you look at the ingredients and you say, well, I don't need that. I want to replace that with this ingredient. And I think he's using too much of this. I'm going to use less. Well, you know what? I have no idea how your chocolate cake is going to turn out. All I know is I gave you the recipe for the best chocolate cake you've ever had in your life, and you did something different. So some of you are going to run with this. Some of you are not. All I can ask is if you don't run with this, 90 days from now, rather than quitting the business, revisit this training, speak to me live, and let's go over it again. So basically, I can tell you that the single most important thing you're ever going to do in network marketing to create income is call people, talk to people. Right now, you're not going to meet anybody face-to-face. We're not doing opportunity meetings. We're doing webinars. We're doing just calling people. When you call somebody, number one, it's very important when you call them that you have a goal in mind. Your only goal when you call somebody is give them enough information so that they want to get on a webinar or they want to look at your website. And by the way, or get on the phone with somebody like me. I never send people the website or the comp plan or the list of ingredients in the product before they've heard a webinar or before they've spoken to somebody like me. You know what? I'll tell you why. I've never seen a comp plan. I've never seen a webinar that anybody looked at and said, wow, that's it. I've never seen a website that people say, wow, that's it, I'm in. Yeah, check out the website, I'm in. It just doesn't work that way, okay? Relationship building business. I have people message me on Facebook, hey, send me some information. And then I send them back, can we talk live first? I never send people information. You want to speak live first. So if I were calling Gregory, you know, I don't go right for the jugular, hey, let's make money together. Gregory, it's Eddie. Man, how are you doing? How are you holding up in these times? And then I'm going to hear the horror story. I got laid off. I'm getting paid for a while, but we know the horror stories. And then that's what I'm going to say, Gregory, that's one of the reasons I'm calling you. And I'm going to compliment them. You're one of the nicest, sharpest guys that I know, Gregory. And here's the thing. There is, I don't know if you've ever thought of having a home-based business, Gregory, but let me tell you something. There are fortunes that could be made in a home-based business. And I found something recently. I thought of you right away. If we could ever do something together, we would make a fortune. Are you interested? And Gregory's going to ask you a question. I don't know, what is it? Well, you can, try to tell him the wonders of hemp. You can try to tell him the wonders of Joe and Richard and Carol. Or you can remember the goal of the call, which is to get them on a website, on a webinar. I said, well, you know what, I'll tell you. Rather than me trying to explain it on the phone because I'm kind of new, there's a webinar today. It's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm going to send you the information. It's going to run under 20 minutes, probably about 18 minutes. And well, why don't you tell me, Eddie? Why don't you tell me? Gregory, I'm so new. I want to make sure that you see the same exact set of information that I heard. So the webinar is at 2. And then maybe Gregory says, well, I can't make it at 2. Great, because we're doing another one at 7, okay? But let's say that Gregory says, yeah, 2 o'clock is good. Okay, beautiful. So here's what we're going to do. If it's okay with you, I'm going to give you a call back at 2:30, right after the webinar, while it's still fresh in your mind. So Gregory says, okay. So now I'm going to get off the phone with Gregory, and I'm going to say that my upline is Joe. I'm going to say, hey, Joe, I'm going to text him. Joe, it's Eddie. Can you do a 3-way call with me today at 2:30 Eastern? And Joe hits me back, yes, he can. Beautiful. Now, what I'm going to do, after the webinar, I'm supposed to call Gregory, my prospect, at 2:30. So at 2:25, I'm going to call my upline, Joe. I'm going to tell him a little bit about Gregory. I know him from network marketing. He's not done network marketing. He said, whatever I know about Gregory, I'm going to tell Joe. And now I'm going to do a 3-way. So Joe's at his house in Idaho, and Gregory's somewhere in Chicago, and I'm in Boston, okay? And now I've got a goal. When Gregory answers the phone, my goal is not to ask him, did you watch it? Did you like it? What did you like most? I have one goal. My goal is to get my upline, Joe, on the phone. Joe's goal is to give Gregory enough information that he will make a decision to take the next step, whether that's trying the product, becoming a customer, or jumping in with both feet. So when Gregory answers, I say, Gregory, I am so happy you're here. I just want to let you know, on the other line, I've got my friend Joe. Now, Joe's one of the top people in this company. I've got him on the phone to answer any of your questions. Joe, say hello to Gregory. Joe says hello to Gregory, and me, I don't need to say another word. Joe will answer the questions, handle the objections. More often than not, Joe can get Gregory signed in right on the phone, because a few things are happening here psychologically all at once. Number one, I've just introduced Joe as one of the top people in the company. Joe can speak with a level of posture. And by the way, if you've been in the company one day and your upline's been in for 2 days, introduce them as one of the top people in the company. We're all at the top of this company. It's a very small company, okay? Number two, in a roundabout way, I've complimented my prospect, Gregory, by saying to him, I think enough of you to get you on the phone with one of the top people in the company. But always remember here, your prospect, Gregory, is trying to decide a couple of things. And one of the things he's trying to decide is this a good business opportunity? And I don't see how he could not think it was. But there's another thing he's thinking in his mind. Can I do this? Can I do this? And so at this point, after Joe has answered all of his questions, he's going to say, you know, Gregory, you're probably wondering right now whether or not you can do what I'm doing. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But I have a better question for you. Do you think you can do what our friend Eddie has done to this point? And now Gregory's like, wait a minute, what did Eddie do? He called me up excited, told me he wanted me to watch a webinar at 2 o'clock, and then he doesn't say another word. He gets me on the phone with this Joe character, and then, again, Eddie doesn't talk. Not sure I can do what Joe did. But you know what I do know I can do? I can do what Eddie did. I can do what Eddie did. And see, the beauty of this system is the fact that while my upline, Joe, is showing the business to my prospect, Gregory, at that same exact time, he's teaching me how to show the business. After I do a few calls with my upline, Joe, guess what? I'm now ready to do three-way calls for my downline. That is the cycle of duplication in its most simple form. And you know what? Anybody can do it. And so what I say is, can you work this business an hour a day? An hour a day. And I'm thinking, you know what? My guess is you can work it more. But let's look at this not just for the next 90 days when we're quarantined and secluded or whatever. Let's look at it going forward. Can a person work this business an hour a day and make money? And the answer is yes, you can. So now let me give you your job description. As Bill Belichick always said, do your job. Here's what your job is. Your job is in the course of that hour to make 2 contacts. Hey, Joe, it's Eddie. How have you been? How are things going? You know, and then lead them to a webinar. Or, by the way, by next week, we're going to have a sizzle call. I'm probably going to have 2. I'm going to have one sizzle call that's going to be less than 2 minutes, and the second one is probably going to be a 6-minute call where I tell the story. So then you can get them on the sizzle call, then the webinar, then the follow-up 3-way call. Okay? So we're going to make this as simple for you as possible. You know, I haven't had time to do all the tools yet. Obviously, we've got some great tools and some videos and PDF files, but we're going to have more with, you know, being able to hear a human voice. But the point is, can you contact 2 people a day? Now, I said 2 people a day, okay, because if you can contact 2 people a day for 90 days, you're home free. So the first thing you need to do is you need to sit down and make a list of 180 people. And please, I'm begging you, don't tell me you don't know 180 people. You don't get to be your age. Don't say to me, well, I live in the boondocks. I don't know anybody. Really? I'll tell you what. Go on your Facebook friends. Go on your cell phone and tell me you don't have 180 people there. Of course you know 180 people. You're afraid to contact them. Don't be afraid to contact anybody. You need to contact everybody, because if they don't hear about it from you, they're going to hear about it from somebody else. I mean, you take this to the bank. Over the course of the next 2 years, everybody you know and everybody you've ever known is going to hear about the opportunity of common sense. If they hear about it from you or somebody you've told, you're going to be thrilled. If they hear about it from somebody else, you're going to want to shoot yourself. Everybody is going to know about this. And let me tell you something. Everybody today is a prospect. I don't care if they're lawyers. I've already been on the phone with lawyers, with doctors, with people in the real estate business, with people in the mortgage business. I've already been on the phone with people like that. You know why? Because everybody knows they need something right now. And they all have heard of home-based businesses. They've heard of network marketing. They no longer think we're illegal pyramid schemes. Okay, they know somebody that's made a fortune in network marketing. Don't be afraid. You've got something that they need right now. You're a good person. If you saw somebody drowning, would you send them a life preserver? You can't make them pick it up. You send it to them. And that's what we're doing day after day. Now let's go back to this. Can you contact 2 people a day? Well, if you can contact 2 people a day for the next 90 days, doing it exactly as I had suggested, I believe that you're going to be a Ruby 6 months from now. And I believe that the average Ruby in this company will be earning 5 figures a month, no problem. No problem, based on just as I looked at the numbers. So you're going to call 2 people a day. Now let me explain something to you. People feel, and by the way, that's why I said 180 names, because you only have to do this for 90 days. Okay, that's why I said 180 names. Okay, you only have to talk to 2 people a day. You can speak to more, obviously. I know we got people that are, but the point is, if you're doing it full time, speak to as many people as you want. Part time, 2 people a day is enough to do the follow-ups. So basically, people think that success in network marketing is somehow tied to the economic laws of Las Vegas, where you have to get lucky. I'm here to tell you nothing could be further from the truth. This business is an exact science. I'm now going to share with you what's going to happen if you contact 2 people a day for 90 days and duplicate the process. See, I'm not good on the internet. I'm not good at, stuff like that, but I'm a numbers guy. I'm like Rain Man, and I keep track, and I have kept track for years. Let's assume you're going to call 2 people a day for 30 days. That means you're going to contact 60 people. And by the way, you don't want to work Sunday? That's great. Call 3 people on Monday, 3 people on Tuesday. Call 4 people on Monday. But you are going to consistently talk to an average of 2 people a day, 60 people a month. Don't call all 60 the first day. Okay? Spread it out. But you're going to have to speak to an average of 2 people a day at getting them on these webinars. Here's what's going to happen. Of the 60 people you contact over the next 30 days, 25% of them, they don't care if you are giving diamonds away for free. Nope, not interested. Nope, don't care. No, thanks. That's okay. So now what we're going to do is 25% of 60 is 15. Let's subtract 15 from 60. We're left with 45. Of the 45 people that tell you they're going to be on the webinar, they're going to watch the videos, they're going to listen to the sizzle call, of the 45 people that swear to you on a stack of Bibles they will do that, 1/3 of them will not. They just didn't want to say no to you. They didn't want to hurt your feelings. They didn't realize they're hurting it more. But that's okay, because 1/3 of 45 is 15. Let's subtract that from 45, and we're left with 30. Now, of the 30 people that hear and see the same exact set of information that we saw, that we heard, that got us so excited we can't even sleep at night anymore, so we need extra sleep sense, how many of those 30 people are going to come to the same conclusions that we did based on the same set of information? I'm going to give you the industry average, 10%. That's it, 3. Now, the 27 people that said no to you still have a value. Do you know why? Because all of them have leaky gut. Many of them can't sleep at night. A lot of them are suffering in pain, and 3 of those people are going to become your customers. So, at the end of your first 30 days, you have enrolled 3 people, and there's now 4 of you. Now, the next month, you're going to call another 2 people a day. But your job now, your job description is not only, hey, I'm going to call 2 people a day. Now your job description is to have them listen to this training, and they call 2 people a day, and they have the same success rate that you do. And here's what's going to happen. When all 4 of you bring in people, in month 2, 16 new people come on board. In month 3, 64 people come on board. In month 4, 256 people come on board. In month 5, 1,024 people come on board. Let's add them all together. We got 1,364 people. Let us assume that those 1,364 people didn't enroll 1 more person. Not at all. But you know what they will do? They'll buy the product and consume it. Now, last month, and I got this from Joe and Richard, even though the average auto ship is only 1 product a month, the average person brought a shade under 3. Can you imagine that? You only need 1 to be qualified, but you're buying 3. So I'm going to put that in the middle. Let's say the average person just buys 2 products. So that gives you that AC of $45. If you were to multiply that 1,364 times 45, you come up with over 50,000 points. It's actually over 60,000. And guess what happens? You're Ruby. And what did you do? You contacted 2 people a day for 90 days. You used the law of averages, and you taught other people to listen to this training and do the same exact thing. And now look at the type of money you're making. I don't even want to tell you what would happen if we took it to month 6, because the numbers are through the absolute roof. And you are here so early right now. Try it. Prove me wrong. Go speak to 60 people this month and 60 people next month and 60 people the following month, and you show me. I guarantee you, if you do that and you get them on a webinar and you get them on the phone with your upline, you will enroll the 3 people a month, and they will as well. People have heard me say this training over the years, and they say, Eddie, you just made it sound so simple, so easy. Why doesn't everybody do it? I can tell you why everybody doesn't do it. Everybody doesn't do it because I'm telling you right here that you are going to speak to 60 people this month, and 57 of those 60 people will not join you. And you cannot take it when people say no, because you think they're saying no to you, but they're not saying no to you. What they're doing is saying no to the idea because they don't have enough information yet. That's why you're going to follow up with these people. But I'm here to tell you that these numbers work. And now I'm going to ask you one simple question. You're home all day. What would happen if you spoke to 3 people a day? What would happen if you spoke to 4 people a day? For me, the reason I have made 7 figures in the last 2 wellness companies I was with, great companies, Synergy Worldwide, X-Fuse, they're both still in business, just X-Fuse changed their name. The reason I made 7 figures in both of them is the first 90 days I worked it, and I had an advantage because I worked 40, 50, 60 hours. If I tell you 12, 14, 16 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week, day after day after day, in both of those other companies, I would go a week at a time without showering. I just went a week without showering. Somebody wanted to do a FaceTime with me. I said, I can't do a FaceTime with you. I haven't showered in a week. I look disgusting. My hair is brown, but my beard goes in white. I look like I've been panning for gold in the mountains. I could have been in a Humphrey Bogart movie the way I look. Guys, it's here right now. All I want to do is push a button in any of you, the way my button was pushed about network marketing years ago. There's never been a time ever in the world since I've been around. I'm 68, going to be 69 in May. There's never been a better time for home-based business. There's no better home-based business than network marketing. There's no better network marketing company in the world. We're the only one. Common sense, the right company, the right products, a huge and growing marketplace for the product, a timing story that no one can argue with, a compensation plan that finally you can use your recruiting skills to help your downline. And you know what? If you don't have them, your upline does. We do. We can help you. I've never seen a situation to this. And I'll tell you right now, and I say this to Joe Melling 3, 4, 5 times a week. Joe, you saved my life. On Valentine's Day, you saved my life. And now what we're going to do is go out and pay it forward. And we're going to save lives because we've got an ability to do something here. And if you don't, if you're too afraid to call somebody because they could say no to you, get over it. You got nothing else to do for the next 90 days. You have got to go out there and build for your family's future. I'll tell you right now, I wake up an hour early every day. I stay up an hour late every night, 2 hours late every night. I was so upset that I can't go to the gym anymore. Now I'm not because it gives me an extra hour and a half to work because this is the time you'll never get back. Will this opportunity be great 2 years from now? Absolutely. 5 years from now? Absolutely. But it will never have the opportunity that it has right now. And if I were you, I would get off this phone and I would get 5 people on the call at 2 o'clock and then have them get 5 each because that is how you explode your business. Guys, I hope I've pressed a button in any one of you, because if I have, and you follow this lead, it will not be long before we're all together on the beaches of the world. I love you all. I appreciate you all.